Canelo, Chavez Jr. I like Canelo. I think he might stop him late in the fight. I just think he's the better fighter. I could go into a myriad of reasons why I'm picking him, but I think he's the better fighter. Look, he's a guy, they both started young. He started 15, Chavez started 17. But different things here. I mean, even at 15, he had 50 fights, amateur fights, somewhere in that neighborhood, where Chavez had no. He had 2 amateur fights, but they weren't even amateur fights. From what I understand, they might have been exhibitions with Paez, which before they tested the waters. So he was complete work in progress in the pros, and they both. This is important for me, at least, in my opinion, and it's heavy. They both became fighters for different reasons. Canelo did it because of, in the great heritage of the Mexican fighter, where it's a way out. It's a way out of poverty. It's like a lot of fighters in this world, well, depending on where they come out. Boxing's a way out. Baseball might be a way out. Football might be a way out. And I applaud all of them and love them all for it. And in Mexico, a way out is boxing, and there's a history, and there's a pride, and there's a tradition that's involved, that maybe you could become one of these great Mexican warriors, these legends, these heroes. So he was part of that, Canelo. The son, different. The son was the son of a legend. Maybe the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. He was the son of a legend, and he was doing it, and I'm not doing this in a derogatory way. I'm going to say it straight, the way I believe you should say things, just to get to the point. But he was doing it to get daddy's approval. He was doing it to get the love of a father, the attention and respect of a father. Hey, that's powerful too. Don't get me wrong, but it's a different power. It's different. And once you get that father's approval, and once you get that love, and you finally got, oh, now what? Now what? Now what? So, listen, he's got plenty of heart, Chavez, but I don't forget, he did quit once. You know, a lot of people don't talk about, oh, gee,
recently.
Gee, are we allowed to say that? Yeah, I think so. We live in the real world, right? I do something that's not good, I don't have to worry if someone's gonna say it, they're gonna say it. You know, so yeah, he quit. Now I'm not going to say once a quitter, always quitter, any of that stuff. You know, I think this fight, he understands the pride factor, the Mexican pride. This is for the respect of your people. This is for the ability, the privilege of walking down your street the day after the fight, and what you're going to hear. That's what this is. So that's gonna play in there. But still, that's in his history, what I just said. And I think that for me, Canelo is just a better fighter. I mean, the weight's not going to play into it. You heard me talk about the weight earlier, right? I don't think it's going to play into it because, again, Canelo, you know, he's going to stay around his weight. He's not going to say, oh, I'm going to put on extra luggage. You know, that would be foolish. But he can have a glass of water now. He can have maybe a little something to eat because he used to have to dry out to make 155. So in his mind, it's going to be a plus. Like, he ain't the smaller guy. In his mind, he's going to say, I'm going to be stronger than I ever been before. You know, because I don't have to dry out for 155. And then the other guy where people are going to say, well, you know, he's going to weaken, or he's the bigger guy shrinking down, and he's going to go way up and all that stuff. Well, for me, again, I don't think he should have been the bigger guy. I think we're just talking that he's the bigger guy because his work ethic made him, or lack of work ethic, made him the bigger guy. I don't think he ever belonged at 172 pounds and those kind of weights. I think this is a guy that if he had a serious work ethic all the time, the way Canelo does, all the time, that he would have been at middleweight. So I don't think making 164.5 in any way is going to hurt him. I think it's going to help him, as I said earlier, because it's going to force him to behave like a fighter and to train the way he should train, to be closer to the weight he should be to begin with. And at the end of the day, let's go on the premise that still, at the end of the day, all this being said, that Chavez still going to be big, a little bigger, right? You know, go up a little bit. He's going to be, and he's a little taller. Okay, let's just say he's going to. I don't think his bone structure is that much bigger. He's a big like he's Goliath. But let's just say he's going to be little. Guess what? That gets, for me, from my perspective, that becomes a negative. You know, God bless you. You know why it becomes a negative? Because of one of the flaws, the technical flaws in Chavez. I don't know if you guys been watching, but he squares up. He does not keep his feet skinny. He does not do that. When he throws the right hand, that foot does not stay anchored. It falls in. And he gets square. And so now he's a bigger guy. Guess what? He's a bigger target. Now he's a bigger heavy bag. Right in front of a guy who's sharper, who's faster, who's better. Guess what? What does that equate into? Usually a loss.
A loss. So you kind of answered my question, but I might as well still ask. So you believe going into this fight, this was a landslide, a mismatch?
I think it. Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't let people put words in my mouth, and so I'm going to take them, throw them away, and I take my own words and say, no, you didn't make me say that. I said it on my own fruition. Yeah, I think it could be a mismatch. I think it's possible. I think that it's possible that it could be, because I think at the end of the day, there's only one guy in my mind that's going to win this fight, and that's the better fighter. That's Canelo.